Hello and welcome to an episode of Bud Mash, and today we're talking about Marathon, Bungie's new game. It's really interesting, the whole conversation around it. I'll be honest, I've been following it the past few days, week, month, but yeah. So let's get into this shit show. So first off, as many of you may know, or may not know, Marathon will not be having a proximity chat because apparently it's too toxic, which is like, okay. Yes, I understand, like, when it comes to competitive games, people can be a little more sweaty and they get a little more competitive and say, and will trash talk. But the problem is to turn off proximity chat, I think, is wrong, like have it forced turn off. I think what they should do is have an option to turn it off and be like, tell people in game, hey, you could turn off the proximity chat, like have a notification of it when you turn on, like, hey, you could turn it off. I think like that's something that comes up where, yeah, competitive games can be really toxic, that I'm not disagreeing with. The problem is, like, I think instead of directing people to, hey, you can turn this off, forcing them to turn off is wrong too. Because some people just want to trash talk. Get it? But this is the person that yells at that yells at game shows and cooking shows. Because I get so into them. But yeah, that's all the first thing. Because it's I think they should, like I said before, I think they should have something that directs people to be like, hey, if you want proximity chat on, you can turn it off and all that stuff. Because most games have that stuff on now. Smite has it on. Marvel Rivals has where you can turn off team chat or and match chat if you want, because sometimes people just get too toxic in team chat. Especially in Marvel Rivals, a lot of times I notice it comes from the Punishers. Next marathon cost $40. And I think that's a huge misstep on Bungie's part. Because first off, Concord cost 70, and that didn't do well. And I think maybe in the head, if they lower it, maybe people will buy it. But the problem is they're competing with so many other live service games, and games like Marvel Rivals that are free to play. And I think they should make, I'll be honest, they should make Marathon free to play. Because, like I said, you're competing with Marvel Rivals, Fortnite, and all different shooters, and especially Marvel Rivals. That's like one of the biggest ones on the market right now, but it's like a team hero shooter like Overwatch. The problem is you're competing with all those, and be honest, it's more of why would I want to pay $40 for a game that I may or may not like when I could go play Marvel Rivals for free. And I understand, yes, things like server costs and stuff, but Marvel Rivals, Steam's chart as of 12:05 p.m., it had 128,000 people on Steam, and that's like Steam alone, and that doesn't count the other consoles numbers. So that would be adding in the PlayStation Xbox numbers in yet too. So I feel like this is a big misstep because the market's already filled with PvP shooters, and you got one like Marvel that's dominating the market, so you gotta have something special that brings it. Which I don't think. I'll be honest, I don't think Marathon's gonna bring it. And also, they compared it to Destiny, and I get like the idea as a gamer you might compare certain games, but as a company you should set that game with its own identity. You could be like, hey, this is gonna Marathon will be a PvP game, and it'll be sort of cater to PvP audiences. But no, they did a post, and like Destiny, Marathon will be PvP only, which I think there are better ways to restate it. But you got to make that game stand on its own identity, not the identity of any other games. Yes, Crash Bandicoot may be a platformer like Super Mario, but it ain't Super Mario itself. It has its own identity and its own mechanics too. That's sort of like my comparison, even though it's like different company. But yeah, I'm just like that's not a good idea. Then people are going to set up the expectation that marathon is going to be sort of like Destiny 2. This is according to Marathon Bulletin. It says Marathon won't use traditional skill based matchmaking, will match players by runner level. Instead, there's not going to be a skill based match making based on skill, but there is going to be matchmaking based on your runner level, which is an aggregate of how much time you put in a game and how much experience points you put in. So we do want to have some protection for players that are very new versus people who put hours into the game. And Marathon Assistant Director Del Chafe, third interview with Dr. Lupo. This is a very interesting one. Like, I get the idea. I'll be honest. I get where they're coming from with this idea because they want new players to have sort of a good experience playing the game too, as older players and veteran players, people to put the time in. There are a few problems I have with this. Is first off, let's say you take a break from the game and your level is 27. It seems like, and this is just from the text I got, if your level is 27, you're going to be matched with other people who are sort of that level. And you may get your ass handed to you because you were on a break, playing other games or, just dealing with life. What happens as you get rusty? And then also, I'll be honest, this is going to sound blunt, but some people have different skill levels even after playing the game for so long. Like, I'll be honest, I'm bad at team shooters, but I love them. Team Rumble mode in Fortnite. And I'm just not good at it, which is, completely fine, but I have fun. And I think not everyone's going to be good at a certain type of game. Doesn't mean they're not going to have fun at it. It just means that they might not be as good as others who, have that skill and been playing that game and have sort of innate ability when it comes to that game. That's another problem. And of course, with most systems, this could be exploited, but that's to be expected. Honestly, if I were the team, I would test this out and see how it works and sort of fix it. Like, make it a sort of battle pass ranking or something. I'm not sure. Where it's like, oh yeah, you're level 27 battle pass, and sort of it resets and stuff every so often. So you could do sort of, I guess, sort of like a skill check on a player, just so if they fail, they could, go into a lower bracket. Or if they do well, they can go in a higher bracket. And who knows, maybe I'm just explaining skill based team play at this point, and it might be the point of, don't fix what's not broken, but also at the same time, I think this is a good idea. Is like Marvel Rivals and sort of games like that. They put you, if you keep losing, they'll put you in a sort of AI match, just not to sort of break your morale. So you keep playing the game, which I think is great because I know I'm going to get someone that says get good, which yes, that's true, but at the same time, you don't want players who are demoralized because that means they'll quit the game and I won't come back. But as they will, then once they win the CPU match, I'll put them in like regular people, and that's something that Fortnite does too. Games you don't want to demoralize player base because then they're not going to play the game, and that's what I think that's also a bigger issue. Here's a big Chugamagungas issue that has been going around because Asmongold brought it up. Because he's a popular streamer and everyone hates him. Like, everyone's just like, got a target, just like keep throwing targets at him and they keep missing. They just keep throwing darts and it's just like the wind's like, whoosh, and it's just going like the other way. Asmongold made a take that said that Marathon should make all the female characters fuckable and that the characters are over designed. I'll be honest, the first one, they are really over designed. Like, there is need to be an edit button. I understand where they're coming from with the futuristic cyberpunk look, but it's not translating well. It needs to be edited. Like, there needs to be some sort of Okay, let's figure this out to get it right. Maybe sort of a review of peers who aren't a bunch of yes men or yes women. Ask people who are sort of out of that safe space because I'll be honest, they will either give you scathing criticism or constructive criticism. Scathing criticism, I'll be honest. But you like if someone says that out of the safe space that of yes people who will be like, this is over designed, then that might be something to look into. I'll be honest, but that's just me. Now the second one where he says they got to make the female characters fuckable. This is more of, I'll be honest, I think Asmongold misses a nuanced part of this because I think it's sort of the character design is sort of like book covers. Like if you're a book reader, you know what I mean. Where so the book cover draws you to the book, and I think character designs do the same. Does this keep players around? No, because First Descendants fall off a cliff, but it had boobly jiggly lady. That is to say, he's not wrong. I think there's a little more nuance to the take. Because here's the games that have failed that were ugly that had female characters. Star Wars Outlaws, Concord, and Dustborn, and I think there's a few others, but I completely forgot. And then here's games that did pretty well with female characters: Stellar Blade, Marvel Rivals, the Genshin Impact, and Honkai Star Rail. They all had pretty ladies, and people spend money to get the gotchas. So I think it is a joy. It's just not what keeps people staying, because Marvel Rivals has good gameplay, and so Stella and Blade. So I think I think it's sort of like one of those things where it's sort of like a book cover design. How you sell it sells the game. It's one point of selling. And many games like First Descendant, Stella Blade have had their marketing points standing out because they were the very few games that time to have pretty ladies. I mean, when your market is filled with ugly ladies who look like they got beaten with a ugly stick, and then they make children cry. Of course, having games with pretty ladies is gonna be sort of the standing point in a market that's saturated with women who make children cry. I look too. So I don't, like I said, I don't think he's completely wrong. I think there's a tiny bit of nuance that's missing in my opinion, that I think he's missing, and that's gameplay. At the end of the day, like you could bring pretty woman, can bring gamers in, but if the gameplay is flat, then gamers will leave. That's just my opinion. Anyways, what do you guys think about the marathon? I hope you guys had a great holiday this weekend. Easter if you celebrate it. If not, I hope you guys had a blessed day. Anyway, stay warm, stay cool, stay hydrated, take care, bye.